Hello, fellow library lover, and welcome to another tutorial or webinar class in which we'll discuss an online database in detail. Today we'll be discussing Reference USA, which is an Info USA product. My name is Stuart Schaefer, and I am the head of the reference department at the Farmingdale Public Library, and my contact information is my phone number, 516-249-9090, extension 203. And my email address is fdaleref@nassaulibrary.org. You can access the library's homepage at farmingdalelibrary.org. So today we're going to talk about Reference USA. And basically the resource is a great way to get contact information for individuals and small and medium and large size businesses. And one other good feature is you can generate call lists or customer lists based on various criteria. So up on the screen, you'll see an outline of what I'd like to talk about today. And basically, I have my contact information, and well, it's a resource for individuals and businesses, and it's very flexible, it's customizable, and it's free. And one thing, when you're accessing this from home, you will need your library card. On the back, there's a 14-digit number. You're going to need that to access the resource from home. So right now, I'm scrolling through the outline that I generated. And we're going to do a standard white page search. And I'm going to talk about how you can narrow it down for individuals. And later in the presentation, I'm going to do a small business search for businesses in Farmingdale. And I'm going to talk about print options and some other resources or some other ways you can filter the resource. So without further ado, I'm going to start a new share, and I'm going to go to the Farmingdale Library website, which, as I mentioned, is at farmingdalelibrary.org. So to get to Reference USA, you're going to click on the research button on the green tab up here, and we're going to click on electronic resources by subject. We're going to scroll down to business and investments. And then on that page, we're going to scroll down to Reference USA, which is the second to the last from the bottom. I'm going to click on that link. And I accessed it before earlier tonight. But at this point, you'll need to put in your barcode, that 14-digit number on the back of your card. So from Reference USA, you have a bunch of available databases, including US businesses, Canadian businesses, new US businesses, US standard white pages, which includes 162 million residents, Canadian white pages, historical businesses, US jobs and internships, US healthcare, which is physicians and dentists, and US consumers and lifestyles. And right now, I just want to do a simple search and click on US standard white pages. And I'm going to do a very generic search for someone named James Johnson in New York. And I'm going to type in James and then Johnson. I don't have his phone number, but if I did, I could put it in this box over here. I'm going to look for the city, or actually, I'm sorry, the state. I'm going to narrow it down just to New York. And I'm just scrolling down, clicking on New York. And if I really wanted to find the James Johnsons in Farmingdale, I would type in Farmingdale under city. However, I don't want to get that narrow because I don't want to turn up 0 results. So I'm going to click on View Results. And we found 573 results for James Johnson in New York. If you notice on the left side, we have first name, last name over here, then street address, and then city and state. It's alphabetical by city. As you look, we have the first bunch from Albany, then Albion, then Allegheny, then Alkmaar, and Amherst, and so on. We have the zip code and whether or not a phone number is available. So I would like to find him in Farmingdale. And the letter F is further along in the alphabet than the letter A, obviously. So I'm going to actually use this box up here on the left. I'm going to type in page 5, and I'm going to hit enter. In other words, I want to scroll to the 5th page of this list of James Johnsons. We only got up to Brooklyn, but let's look on page 10, let's say. Better. We got up to G for Ghent in New York. I'm going to go back using this back arrow key over here. And look at that. There's a James Johnson in Farmingdale, 26 Lowell Drive. Okay. But instead of picking on him, let us look for someone in Far Rockaway, this James Johnson. I clicked on that link and you get his name, the city, the zip code, the metro area, the address, the state, county, Queens. What is very interesting is you can click on this, you can get a location map, and you have the option to print it. This gives you a location map using somewhere in Far Rockaway. But if you scroll down, you can get more neighborhood information, the estimated household income, estimated home value, the percentage of owner-occupied housing, adjusted home income, adjusted home value, and some census material over here. So I'm going to scroll back to the prior page. And if you wanted to, you can sort by any of these criteria at the top, by first name, last name, street address, city or state, or zip code. Let's do it by city and, or by zip code. And it looks like they all start with New York, New York, and then they scroll down. So you have the option to click on details, and we get the same information we just saw with the name, city, zip code, metro area, address, state, county, and phone number. And then you have the neighborhood information. I'm going to go back. You can get a heat map of where all these James Johnsons live. This is a list of the top 50 tally results by zip code. So there were 7 James Johnsons in 14750, 6 in 14701. I'm going to click on summary. And you can show the count breakdown by estimated home value or estimated home income. And let's click those results. So it looks like we're slicing and dicing the information, basically. You can sort here by either the estimated household value or by the estimated household income, and the record count will travel as you sort by either of those two criteria. So let's go by household income. $500,000 plus there were 2 records. And they're attaching it to the estimated household value. So basically, this is a way to slice and dice the information even more in a more finely mannered way. You can also do it by geography. I'm going to unclick the top two, the estimated home value, the estimated home income. But I'm going to do it by area code. Now I'm going to sort by geographically by area code. And I'm going to click on this and maybe that'll work. Okay, we'll come back to that later. So you can download, it looks like you can download up to 50 records at a time. You can select your data format, either by comma delimited format or by Excel. And then you can choose your level of detail. You can choose a summary, which includes the name, address, phone number, and 10 additional fields. You have the option to include all the data by choosing detailed, or you can customize your level of detail by selecting specific fields to export. Let's try detailed. And then I'm just going to click on Open with Excel. And I just checked the first one. And now you have that first James Johnson in Excel format. And the reason why that's useful is because then you have it in Excel and you can slice and dice it even further with a pivot table at some point. Finally, you can print. And it looks like you're only allowed 50 at a shot. Finally, you can save the search and you can email it to yourself. That's one other option to import the data. If I wanted to revise the search, if I wanted to update it, I can click on Revise over here. Or if I wanted to do a completely new search, we can do that over here. And I'm going to do a new search with Johnson, James in, let's pick something in California, in Los Angeles. Oops. I'm going to click on View Results, and we didn't find any because I spelled loss wrong. Much better. So we found 25 of them. And I'm going to click all the records on this page was 25 of them. And I did that by clicking this button right over here. This either selects all of them or none of them. It's a toggle. And I'd like to download it into Excel. And I just want to show you how I did that. So now instead of just getting one of them, we have all of them, the 25 of them. And when you enable editing up here in Excel, you would be able to sort by phone number or other options that you would have. And we're going to go from there. So we're going to go back to Reference USA to the home page. And the real fun part begins now, which is I'm going to click on US businesses. There are 57 million businesses you can choose from. I'm going to click on that. And because I showed you a quick search before, I would like to show you an advanced search now. So the advanced search that I have planned is very exciting. Advanced searching allows for flexible searching. It's customizable. It's a great way to generate sales leads for businesses and for individuals. You can send out mailings. It's a really, really great tool. So the search that I wanted to do was by city and state. I'm going to choose New York. And then I'm going to choose the zip code of 11735. And then I'm going to choose an area code in 516. I know parts of Farmingdale are in 631, but I'd like to keep this simple. I'm going to choose a toll-free number. I basically just want to find companies that have a toll-free number so I can call them, hypothetically. And then the number of employees, we're going to do 1 to 10. and then their sales volume, I'm going to choose, and we'll make it less than 500,000. And of course, I want companies with a credit rating that is excellent. And finally, I want to find companies that have a lot of years in this database. It'll just filter it down even more. And I'm going to choose 10 years of coverage in Reference USA. So these are the sorts. The record type is a verified business. The phone number was verified by folks at Reference USA. I sorted by city and state, zip code, area code, toll-free number, number of employees 1 to 10, sales volume less than 500,000, and companies with an excellent credit rating, and they've been in this resource for 10 years. On the right side, I have the option to view the results, or I can update the count. Reference USA covers almost 15.5 million companies, organizations. Let's update the count. And I got it down to 268, which is still a lot, but it's reasonable. I'm going to click on the results. And all of these are in New York. I want to narrow it down to Farmingdale if I can. And these are the first 25 in the results. And it ends up in the Bronx. I'm going to go to page 2. That ends up with Carmel, New York, East Rockaway, and look at that. Not a single one of these are in Farmingdale. However, we have some in Flushing. This little icon over here, this means it's actually this Allstate Insurance Agency in Endicott. It's a subsidiary of a parent of a bigger company. So let us look at that Allstate Insurance Agency in Endicott. So you get a lot of narrative information about it: the address, the phone number, toll-free number, a website, what county it's in, a job listing from Indeed.com, the industry profile with SIC codes. SIC stands for Standard Industrial Classification Code, kind of like the Dewey Decimal System for businesses. And the NAICS is the North American Industrial Classification Code. This is a brief business profile. And the business demographics. The reason why this is really interesting is you find the number of employees at this location. It's the branch of a public company, which in this case is Allstate. The location sales volume is $400,000. The hours of operation, 10 years in the database. The last time this was updated was February of 2020. You get the management, the upper level management. This guy, this is that person's name, his gender, executive ethnicity, and some business expenditures in various categories. The business size history, if it has 0, it actually, according to this, it's been in Reference USA for 10 years, but they had 0 revenue in 2009, 10, 11, 12, and 13, but then it shot up in 14 to 372,000. But you have a table or a chart for employee size by year. And the interesting thing is you can find competitors' reports over here in Endwell, New York, which is, I guess, near Endicott. So you have a contact, a website or a link that you click on and a phone number. You can also find nearby businesses next to this original business. Dunkin' Donuts or ATM or Rite Aid and so on. Somewhat interesting. So we're going to go back, and I'm concerned why we didn't find actually just businesses in Farmingdale, because Well, we did do a search in 11735. So as you can see, Reference USA is very helpful, but it's not always perfect. Sometimes you have to do a little more digging in it than it lets on, but you still will find quite a list for sales leads. Some of the other filters that you have on the left side that I didn't use are the executive's title, an SIC number or an NAICS number. You can look for businesses in a particular county or within a certain radius of a county. If you know the business phone number, well, then you could just call them. Whether or not it's a public or a private company, whether or not it's on a stock exchange, whether or not it has a website, and a whole bunch of other sorts. So I would like to summarize a little by going back to the Reference USA main page. 2 ways to search. You can search for US businesses or the standard white pages, which is just a residential, almost like a residential phone book. You can search for historical businesses, and you can also search for US consumers and lifestyles. There are over 300 million individuals in that you can search for. So thank you for attending this, this presentation. I will be uploading this to YouTube in a few minutes. You can do a search on YouTube for Farmingdale Public Library. We have our own YouTube channel. And at some point, we're going to be archiving this on our database page under reference. And you'll be able to find a whole bunch of these presentations that I've done so far. I plan on doing many more. Check back weekly for them. And I hope you enjoy them. If you need my contact information again, my email address is fdelref@nassaulibrary.org, and my phone number is 516-249-9090, extension 203. Thanks very much for attending, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a great night.